Hello, in this episode I'm going to go over my 1-year follow-up from last year's propagation of my dwarf burning bush. Stay tuned and we'll do that right now. So let's take a look at this. So last fall I planted these up. I took cuttings and I potted them in 4-inch containers. And at the end of June I repotted the 4-inch containers up into these 1-gallon pots. I don't see a lot of roots coming from the bottom, but let's turn it over and see if I can see any on the sides. And I don't know, I'll try to get the camera up close so you can see there are roots going around the sides, but they're still very little. So here's a close-up video of the root system so you can see there are little roots coming along, which is really nice. I don't know why the camera wouldn't pick it up before, but this is what it looks like. So we got roots coming to the surface, which is good. So it has been 2.5 months since I repotted to the 1-gallon container, and if I let it go over winter, it would probably be fully root bound by spring. As an example, if I wanted to let it go in the winter in the container, but I don't. I want to get it in the ground. I'm going to set this back in the container and then we'll go plant it in the ground where they're supposed to be. This is the mother plant I took the cuttings from, and it had some nice growth on it. It's only been in the ground 1 year, so every time you plant something, it takes up to 3 years for the roots to be fully formed in the ground, where it will really continue to thrive and take off from there. So this one's only been in the ground for 2 seasons now. So it's still got 1 more season to go, and it should really start to take off as far as growth goes. This is a burning bush that was chewed pretty much to the ground by the bunnies. And it put on about 7 inches of growth. So from that, you can see where the bunnies chewed it, and then it came up right there where the green growth is. That is about 1 foot of growth. But again, this has only got a 1 year, maybe a 2-year root system on it. In ground, it takes 3 years. This is another one that was chewed to the ground by the bunnies, and this has been in the ground. This was a cutting. This is a cutting that I had planted last year, probably last fall. And it looks good. It's already got the buds formed right there for next year. You can see them right there. So it grew pretty good considering it went all the way to the ground. It grew about 6 or 8 inches. So here I have laid out the containers right here. There is 1 plant that survived there, and there's 2 more. So there's a total of 3. Oops. There's a total of 3 I'm going to plant, and I've laid them out there. I might have to do voiceover like I said because it is a little windy. So basically what I'm going to do is try to zoom in on 1 plant and show you how I'm planting them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just scrape this mulch back. We put a pretty heavy layer on last year to try to keep the weeds down. I'll see how this is going to come up here. I'm just going to try to flip it over because it starts getting along. It starts mending. It starts melding with the soil underneath as it breaks down. I got my scrap bucket here. I don't need too big of a hole because this is just a 1-gallon pot. Empty it out. I'm going to set it in the hole. It's going to break apart a little bit, which is fine. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to backfill with 100% black gold, which is 100% composted manure, which is how I do all of my plants. I do this to try to be as organic as possible. Make sure it's tucked in there. I'll press it in. I'm going to put this mulch back on top best I can, and then I'll water it in. So pretty simple. So one of the questions asked is on rate of growth. So when you buy plants at a nursery and you get a 1-gallon pot, it's usually a 1-year-old plant, and you're going on the root system. And then a number 2 container, a 2-gallon, would be a 2-year-old plant, or the root system would be 2 years old. For this reason, when you take cuttings, it's still going to take time for that root system to develop. So if this video is helpful, give us a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share this content with others. Also consider subscribing so you don't miss any of our other great videos. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.